And then I do have plans to go to Washington with our advocate, Rabbi Meda. I think that without going into like a long song and dance, the purpose is to educate members of Congress. I don't know if I should go into what the plan, the plan of who to meet with, but
to influence federal folks on funding for the high-speed rail. And to make sure they understand the ridership numbers are limited, and that we would like there to be more oversight into that.
Oversight, yep. And then if to make the two-track option more real, to request for that $1 billion for electrification and positive train control. And then we'd hope to meet not just with our advocates, folks that he has relationships with. We would certainly aim to meet with our with Anna Eshoo and with Jackie Spear as well.
Okay, yeah, I don't have any information about this. This is the first I've heard of this. So who's going, and how is this? I don't even know who the advocate is. I've never met him.
Ravi Mehta is our lobbyist. He's been our lobbyist for 2 years,
and
we've in public sessions have voted to pay him and hire him.
So why isn't he just going? I don't understand why we.
I think it's a lot more powerful if members of, as we heard, from public comment this morning. I mean, it's a lot more powerful if elected members from the affected communities are there, carrying the message as well. And so,
okay, I guess
if Larry Klein from Palo Alto is going, I think it's really good to have a balance, across the county boundary, and just make sure that our particular voice is heard.
I guess since I don't really know what the message is that is being conveyed, and I haven't approved any message to be conveyed, and so I'm unclear about all this. This doesn't make sense to me.
So do you want to have a vote on the city's position on high-speed rail?
Well, I'd like to know exactly what is going to, what the purpose is, and I heard something about make a two-track option rail, $2 million for electrification. I mean, this is the first I've heard of this.
Okay.
So I think, generally speaking, just like last year, the beginning of last year, folks in Sacramento, there was a strong.
Let's wait. Make sure we narrow this down.
Okay.
We're not debating the city's position on high-speed rail tonight. We're not debating the hiring of a lobbyist tonight. If we want to have that debate, I'm willing to have that on any Tuesday night, publicly, and have that debate, because we've been on this for 2.5 years. It's been in every newspaper, everywhere. The idea is whether you're going to D.C. is what the question now is. Does that offer more value, and what's that position going to be? I want to keep that narrowed down so that we don't get into a high-speed rail discussion that we don't need to have. I mean, nothing has been outside of the public light on our position on high-speed rail. So that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Yeah, so I'm there to represent the council's position.
Do you think you disagree with that?
I don't think it's necessary. If we've hired a lobbyist and that's the goal or the purpose of the lobbyist, I think that's fine. And I think Anna Eshoo has an office in Palo Alto. Jackie Spear has one in San Mateo. I don't see the need for it.
Maybe I should elaborate a little bit more. I mean, we do have an opportunity to meet with Darrell Issa, who is the chairman of the Congressional Oversight. We've had, we're in this mess because there hasn't been oversight over the High-Speed Rail Authority. There has been a requirement for a credible ridership study. There's been a requirement for a business plan, and they haven't materialized. So I think it's important from that perspective to educate the members of Congress about, with this being very much a federally funded program, that taxpayer money is being spent wisely.
But what's the $2 million for electrification?
It's $1 billion.
What is this for?
Well,
is that high-speed rail money?
Yes. I mean, as to the extent that this corridor is a high-speed, has been designated a high-speed rail corridor, is potentially a high-speed rail corridor, that action, or that funding, electrification would make a two-track option more viable. So it just puts more options on the table. It would just put more options on the table for consideration in an EIR.
Is this something we're voting on?
No, it's a report.
You can't.
No.
It's not agendized.
Yeah, your input's, I mean, it has impact, so.
Okay, I mean, I think that the advocate should go.
Okay.
I'm not sure we need a council member to go. I think it's fine if, the advocate wants to go, and that's what we pay him for. Great.
Okay. Thoughts?
I have my light on to do a report, but I will just add, if you get the chance to have a meeting with Daryl Issa, I mean, I think that's a good idea, because I'm sure that oversight committee is, going to want to know about the issues and concerns about the studies. So I think that's going to be a key meeting if you go. So.
What's the date?
Tuesday's a travel day. It's Wednesday and Thursday of next week.
And is there a calendar of the meetings?
Not at this time.
Does Robbie have
I mean,
it?
I don't,
Okay.
I'm not setting anything up myself.
Has he sent anything? Do you guys have any report on the meetings?
No, I talked to him last week, and he was in the process of putting together the specific meetings, but I've not received an itinerary.
I could give just a little bit more. So Daryl Issa, I think that one is set. Kevin McCarthy is another one who's the majority whip in the House that he's attempting to get a meeting with. I don't think there's any confirmation there. I think he's attempting to get a meeting with Anna Eshoo and Jackie Spear. And then there's one other, at least one other name that he mentioned to me. I don't know, 500. So.
And what's the projected cost?
So his projected expenses are something along the lines of $2,000. That would be split between 4 cities. My expenses, I think I got a air flight that was between $400 and $500, and the hotel. Hotels are expensive. It's about $400 a night for 2 nights.
Okay, so it's about $1,500 total, something like that. I'd like to get a list of the meetings as fast as possible from Robbie, so we can see what that. I think he really owes that to us. Right.
I'll be glad to ask him for that, and then we'll send it out to the full council.
Okay.
It's not unusual when you go especially to Washington, D.C., that you get last-minute itineraries, but the lobbyists are trying to get scheduled times with the congressmen or senators. They typically don't commit, but as soon as we can get it, we'll make sure that.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it's like in any industry, what's the projected outcome, right?
Right.
Who are the meetings we're trying to get?
That's important.
90% of it, great, but I'd just like to see a list of it and have that understanding. I do agree with the need to get in the face of some of these people who have not spent time on this. That they've actually, the only time they've spent is listening to the rest of their party tell them that this is an opportunity to take on the other party, and that's not enough context. The fact is, we have serious issues with our ridership projections, the economics of this. There are opportunities as well, but I think communicating the finesse points that have been get lost among the muck out here. There's a bunch of very loud folks who are not representative of Menlo Park. I think that oftentimes is troubling for me. I think they're louder than we are. They actually fund their own trips every other week to go out there and meet with people. So it's we got to make sure we have representations. To your point is, do we need council members and the lobbyists, which is a point that I think anybody would share. Do we need that? So
I would just point to the success that we've had in Sacramento over the past year. We've gone from a position where, everybody was like poo-pooing our position to that's kind of the majority position now.
Right.
Like people get it, that there's a big problem with the ridership, a big problem with the business plan and some of the practices of the authority. But I think we've seen that going out, making that trip as we have done many times, has helped.
Other reports, Peter.